Okay, let's talk about something that, for some reason, school just completely forgot to teach us: filing your taxes. I know it sounds intimidating, but I promise, by the end of this, you're going to have a super simple roadmap to get it done. So let's just dive right in. We're calling this first part, Your Missing Life Skill. Because, let's be real, for millions of us, that's exactly what taxes are. It's this giant, super important piece of being an adult that we're all just kind of expected to figure out on our own. And this quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? It's kind of wild when you think about it. He spent years learning about complex biology, but not one single day on the practical, real-world skill of how not to get in trouble with the IRS. It's a shared frustration for sure, but hey, that's what we're here to fix. But despite all that anxiety, here's the secret. The one that the tax prep companies really don't want you to know. For most people, your taxes are just not that complicated. You almost certainly don't need to shell out a bunch of money for an expensive accountant. So let's just reframe this whole thing. We're going to stop thinking about taxes as this scary legal monster and start thinking about it for what it really is: simple math. It's a problem that a computer can literally solve for you in a few minutes. And to do that, we're going to use an analogy that is going to make everything just click. So for the rest of this, I want you to imagine that filing your taxes is like returning a car you've borrowed for a year. That's it. Stick with me here. So what even is a tax return? It's not a test you can pass or fail. Using our car analogy, it's just the final check-in. It's you, at the end of the year, looking at the fuel tank to see if you paid for the right amount of fuel, and in this case, the fuel is your taxes. Okay, this slide right here is where it all comes together. See that top row? That money your boss automatically takes from your paycheck? That's called tax withholding. In our analogy, that's just you prepaying for the gas you think you're going to use. Then, that official form you get in January, the W-2, that's just your final fuel receipt for the year. And filing your taxes? That's you simply checking the tank to settle up. Simple, right?
All right, now that we have that car analogy locked in our brains, let's get practical. This is your roadmap, the simple journey you're going to take every single tax season, from getting your W-2 to the April deadline. The one single most important piece of paper you need is your Form W-2. The best way to think about it is as the employer cheat code. Seriously. Your boss literally sends you a cheat sheet with the two most important numbers already filled out: how much money you made and how much tax you already paid.
And check out how simple the timeline is. Sometime in January, that W-2, your cheat code, shows up. Then in February or March, you find like 30 minutes to sit down with it. And then way before the April deadline, you file and hit submit. That's the whole game plan.
Okay, let's get to the best part. I'm calling this section Filing for $0, because the idea that you should have to pay money just to pay the government money is kind of crazy. You've seen the commercials, right? All these expensive, big tax software companies. And part of the reason taxes feel so complicated is that some of these companies have an interest in keeping it that way. But you can just ignore all that. There are options like FreeTaxUSA that are completely free for most people and do the exact same thing.
And the process itself? It's almost silly how easy it is. You sign up for an account, you take a picture of your W-2 with your phone and upload it. Then the website just walks you through some really easy, specific questions. No jargon. And at the end, you just review the summary and hit submit. That's it.
So, what happens after you hit that big submit button? Let's get to the final tally and answer the one question everyone really cares about. Am I getting a refund?
But before we can answer that, you need to know about this magic number for 2023, $13,850. Seriously, burn this number into your brain. This number is your friend.
So what is it? It's called the standard deduction. Think of it like a giant automatic coupon from the government. You get to subtract this amount right off the top of your income, no questions asked. Which means, and this is the crucial part, you only pay tax on a smaller amount of the money you actually earned.
And that big coupon helps the software figure out one of two really simple outcomes. If it turns out you overpaid during the year, too much fuel was taken out of your paychecks, you get that extra money back. That's your refund. Or if you underpaid just a little, you'll owe the difference. That's all it is.
Okay, we've gone from the big, scary idea of taxes all the way to the final result. So let's wrap this up by looking at your next steps so you feel totally confident when it's your turn. Now, look, it's totally normal to get stuck on one little question the software asks you. Don't panic. Just open a new tab and Google your exact question, word for word. Search forums like the personal finance community on Reddit. I guarantee the odds are incredibly high that someone else has had your exact same problem and it's already been solved. So if you take away one single thing from all this, let it be this. For the average person with a pretty normal job, our entire massive, complicated US tax system basically just boils down to uploading a picture of a form and hitting submit.
When you really boil it all down, the hardest part isn't the math. The software does all the heavy lifting for you. It's really just about knowing which buttons to click. So I guess the only real question left is, are you ready to start clicking?